again, everybody. Welcome to the Mark Few Show. Greg Heister along with head coach Mark Few. Well, it's his show. Let's
we could change the name to the Greg Heister Show. Probably get better ratings.
Nobody would watch, Coach. Let's talk about this week past. First, the tough loss against Washington State. Your team didn't perform the way that you had hoped that they would.
No, not at all. And kudos to Washington State. They really came out and took the game to us. They got a nice basketball team this year. They have some great perimeter players, and all of them can shoot, and all of them can make plays and put a lot of heat on you. But their defense, I think their defense really kind of had us back on our heels and had us frustrated pretty much all night. And, I thought we did a nice job of coming back after such a slow start, and then really couldn't sustain that in the second half and dug ourselves another hole, and just couldn't dig ourselves out of it. So, I've said this before, you play 32, 33, sometimes 35 odd games a season, and you're going to play some good, some bad, and some right in the middle, and when you play a bad one on the road against a good opponent, that's what's going to happen. And it's certainly happened to us before, to our teams before, and we've been able to come back from it. And I think this team showed a lot of character and a lot of heart, being able to come back against Notre Dame and fight and compete the way we did last night, in lieu of the circumstances that had happened the prior week. You look at our schedule, and you look at it, in August or whatever, and from that point I'd circled this, that's a hard week. I mean, there's no week, nobody in college basketball had a week. Illinois, at Pullman, when the Cougars are rolling out of it, sometimes they get rolling very good at the start of the year. They get a lot of confidence going and all that before they get to league play, and then they obviously they're playing very good. And then to Notre Dame, who's ranked and rolling right along too. So a lot of travel, not a lot of time to, you wish you would have had a home game in there to heal up here and physically and rest, but we didn't, and that's probably a lesson for us to learn in scheduling, because everybody else in America does. They usually go home and get well before they venture back out on the road.
And the process is continuing, though, Coach. I mean, it was a different team, even though they lost against Notre Dame. It was a different team on the road at South Bend than we saw in Pullman.
Well, we competed. We competed.
Both ends.
Yeah, you got to compete on offense. You got to play with confidence. You got to fight through adversity. We had a lot of charging flop fouls on our bigs in the Cougars. I quite frankly don't see how 235-pound guys can fall down on a post move, but the West Coast officials will call those. We got to adapt to that. We go back east, and it doesn't happen. So, we got to fight. But as a player, we got to fight through that. It can't shut us down. It shut some of our guys down at Washington State, so it took that part of our attack totally out, which is a major part of our attack. And the big three have to play well, and the other guys have to step up and assume their roles every night, or we're going to struggle. And the big three played well at Notre Dame, and then I thought, our other people stepped up and fulfilled their roles. Once again, Manny played well, but it's been kind of hit or miss. And everybody's got to pull their part of the rope, and if they don't, whether you're one of the big three or whether you're one of our other guys, we don't have much margin for error this year.
And I know, Coach, we've talked about it before. There are some veteran players at positions on this team, but there's a lot of youth. And I think we see that in a week like this, where they have the effort at Washington State like that, and then it's a completely different story a few days later. And I know there was a couple of good practices this week, and so this team's just growing up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we have some people in those other roles that aren't veterans, that are just learning this game and learning how to handle it. And so that's when, if one of the, Steve or E or Rob don't quite step up to their games, and the burden falls on some guys that have never ever been able to, have that responsibility on their shoulders. And that being said, even Steve and E and Rob, I don't think have ever been forced, in their careers at Gonzaga, where every single night. And that's, that was the responsibility of Matt Bolden last year. That was the responsibility of a Jeremy Pargo and some of our players from the prior years that stepped up, and night in and night out they delivered. I think this is a great lesson for the players in our programs, a great lesson for our staff. It's been a great lesson for my family. Obviously, it was 22nd year coaching. I mean, it's a great lesson for me, and I think it's a great lesson for the Gonzaga fans. I've been preaching forever to my 10-year-old, and it just doesn't. It's not gifted to you every year. You're not going to go to the NCAA tournament every year. You have to earn your way. You're not going to win a league championship. It's not a given or a national ranking. You have to go earn it, and that's college basketball. And we've had an incredible run where I think people began to just assume that this stuff magically happens, and it doesn't magically happen. Now there's still a lot of season left. We're going to have to go make our own way. We're not going to be gifted anything, and neither of our other teams. And that's what we're going to have to do. Bear in mind, though, that I don't know how many of our other teams would have been able to fully handle this stretch of teams that we've played. Because it's unprecedented. No, it's not over. Yeah. No. But we have other opportunities in front of us. We need to take advantage of them. We've taken advantage of one so far. Now we need to take advantage of these ones that are still left.
It's the Mark Few Show, the Coeur d'Alene Casino Fan Question of the Week when we come back. Plus, from the Kennel Club to the team and now back to the club. See which former Zag has gone full circle. But first, our Rada Payne finish of the week.
Inside Sacre for the stuff.
They handled it pretty good. I think that was a lot better than what I drew up.
Rada, fresh local paint made in the Northwest for our Northwest environment, because just like in hoops, it's the finish that counts.
.com.
And welcome back to the Mark Few Show. Time now for a Coeur d'Alene Casino Fan Question of the Week. And Dorothy from Spirit Lake writes in, and she asks, Coach, what are the specific responsibilities for each of the assistant coaches during the course of a game?
Oh, that's a great question. One of the three, either Donnie or Ray or Tommy, has that particular scout. So they're in charge of, walking us through all the defensive sets, all the out-of-bounds plays, all the, how the other team guards, and when I say defensive sets, our defensive sets versus that other team's offense. Pretty much prepare us in every possible realm of what to expect against the other team. So they're in the game, they're up constantly reminding our guys of that. I think Ray and Donnie right now are kind of focusing on the defensive side of things as far as our team is concerned, game by game. Tommy helps me, with the offense and out-of-bounds plays and, substitutions and then between the three of them, just with every kind of game management facet that you have. But I'm blessed to have, three guys that are basically head coaches. Two of them have been head coaches, and obviously Tommy's certainly capable and had unbelievable experience, in college basketball. So, that's very comforting. And also, I learned through the years coming up that I think if you empower, your coaches, then they feel more a part of it, and they're more in. They're all in, just like a head coach would be. Whereas, some head coaches just don't let their assistants do anything, and I think I just don't agree with that. I think there's so much talent and so much knowledge and so much experience that we really need to use it, and I want them to really feel that they're every bit as important as me or anybody else in the program.
Dorothy from Spirit Lake, great question. Keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what's coming up next on the Mark Few Show.
Well, when I went to practice yesterday, Coach Tommy Lloyd, actually pointed out to me, you're probably the first person to go from the kennel to the team and then back to the kennel again.